I will speak from Bhagavad Purana. So there's no shortage of people performing chanting or whatever. Some people are doing some type of bhakti. For example, now in America, Kirtan, quite popular. Therefore, bhakti is there, but bhakti should be unmixed devotion. Okay? Not mixed. It's like chocolate is very good, but you mix sand with it, then it becomes spoiled. In the same way, devotion should not be mixed with anything. For example, devotion mixed with desire for material enjoyment, that is devotion. For example, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Oh Krishna, give me a new wife. Oh Krishna, give me a raise, give me a job. Free me from disease. Free my grandmother from disease. It's devotion to pray to Krishna. But if it's mixed with desire for your own enjoyment, then it's called mixed devotion. It's called karma mishra bhakti. Bhakti mixed with karma. What's your name, sir? And your name, madam? Some people are chanting the name Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, but they want to merge with Krishna. That's not good. Because if you merge with Krishna, you cannot serve him. If you become Krishna, you cannot serve him. And devotion means to serve. So to chant the holy name is devotion, desire to mix with Krishna, then it becomes devotion. Some other modes is separate. That can be called Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Devotion mixed with speculative knowledge, desire mixed with a desire for liberation. Understand? To love someone you need two. If you become one with someone you cannot love, that is two. Understand? Someone is doing devotion, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But they desire yogic powers, mystic perfection. It's devotion, but then it becomes mixed with yoga. Giving happiness to Krishna. So tonight I wanted to discuss about pure Bhakti Yoga. That's the right? What do we call it? So, what's an example of a pure devotion? So a very nice example is the history of Sridhama Vipra. Are you here tonight? It's very charming. And if you hear very carefully, then you'll get some type of idea what it means, pure devotion. That is called Shuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti means pure devotion. This is Bhagavad Purana. This was spoken 5,000 years before. One king who was cursed to die in 7 days. He will also die in 7 days. Did you know that? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. In one of those 7 days, everyone in this room will die. So what should we do at the time of death? So we should ask that question. What should one think of at exactly the time of death? The Srila Goswami says, Ekavasam Yogabhyam Svardhamma Paramistaya Janma Pumsao Palabhlavyam Te Narayana Smriti. O King, perfection of yoga, perfection of philosophy, perfection of religious activities, perfection of performing one's duties in this world, indeed perfection of anyone who has achieved a material body in this world, perfection is unto Narayana Smriti. Time of death, remember Krishna. Because whatever you think of the time of death, that will be your next destination. If you think of anything in this world, friend, at the time of death, you think of something in this world, you are attached, then the mind will take you again to take birth in this world. But if somehow or other Yena tena prakarena mana Krishna nasevya. Anyhow, somehow the mind is engaged in thought of Krishna. In the time of death, we have Tvakta Puna Janma Neti Mati Swaga. One will not take birth again. One goes to Krishna. So, in order to think of Krishna continuously, one should possess pure love for him. Pure love, pure devotion, pure bhakti, bhagavad bhakti, bhakti, prema bhakti. These are all synonymous with the same thing. So, in order how to remember Krishna, Sukadeva Goswami spoke this 18,500 verse Bhagavad-Gita. So by hearing this continuously, the mind becomes absorbed in Krishna. Sadaya Sevya, Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, Yasya Sravanamaprena, Haristhitamasya. By constantly hearing this pastimes of Krishna, Sadaya Sevya, not just hearing, but serving the pastime, serving this katha, serving these topics. Serving means what I hear, I must do. It's like if you're a servant, you work in a restaurant, you work in a job, and the boss says, hey, do this. Then you have to do it. That is called serving. So what we hear, Guru Maharaj would say, don't just hear for hearing's sake. Yeah, I have to sit here for 1 hour, then I'll get something to eat. Hearing, Guru Maharaj said, not just hearing for hearing's sake, but hearing to follow, hearing to practice, hearing to serve. So, Sukadeva Goswami, he finished the activities of Krishna. Then he thought I should talk also some more about the glories of the devotees of Krishna. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami described the history of this Sudama. His name is Sudama. But he's not saying his name. His name he's not saying. But Sudama was very, very poor. Why? He never wasted time for any materialistic activity. But his full effort he gave to remembering Krishna, serving Krishna, thinking about Krishna. You know, high-class devotees, you see, they never bother for any type of activity, material activity. They know everything will come anyway as a result of my previous activity. So some devotees, they take the vow of Ajagamriti. Ajaga means Python. And Kamapa was telling me about today in the car. In Everglades, there's anacondas 30 feet long. You think they go around hunting food? No. You just wait for somebody to come near them, then they eat it. There's some devotees like that, Ajagamriti. They never bother going here and there for work. Whatever comes automatically, they take that. So Sudama was very poor as a result. Sometimes the python gets to eat, sometimes the python does not get to eat. Sometimes devotees have great wealth, great offerings, and sometimes by the desire of the Lord they have nothing. But in any condition they are always the same. So, like we hear of our Gurudev, Guru, Goveshwara Bhavima. He would not even waste time going to bed. Oh, stupid stomach, you're hungry, you want something? You take dirt and eat that. So much, he was absorbed in devotion. Why I waste my time moving here and there just to fill this bag of stool and urine called a material body? Instead I will remember Krishna. So we are not recommended we do that in our present life. This is all one stage of the life. So, Sudama, he was very poor, very thin. His cloth was full of holes. He had a wife. Her name was Sushila. He had 3 or 4 children. They were not being fed properly. They were always hungry. Therefore, Sushila, one day she approached her husband and she asked, Nunam Brahman Bhagavata Sakashakshat Shriyapati Brahmanyascha Saranyascha Bhagavan Tattva. All Brahman. Brahman means that person has all good qualities. Control the mind and senses. Always very merciful, very charitable. So a Brahman who is devotee, that is very fortunate. So Oh my dear Brahman, Saka Sakshat Sriyapati. I have heard you are school friends with Krishna. Who is Krishna? Saka Sakshat Sriyapati. Your friend is the husband of the goddess of Power. That means your friend has so much wealth. Therefore, please, you go and ask your friend for some money. Why? Salamyas Chava. What is it? Brahmanyas Chava Salamyas. Those who are surrendered to Krishna, Krishna gives material things very easy. Why? Because those who are surrendered to Krishna, Krishna gives himself to those persons. Then what to speak of material things? Therefore, please go to your friend and ask for some donation, some wealth. O fortunate one, please approach him. He is the shelter of all saintly persons. He will certainly give wealth to a suffering devotee like you. Krishna sells himself to those who give themselves to him. And why Krishna will not give a few bucks to him? Therefore, Sudama did not do anything. Because this is one type of business, one type of prostitution. Like a prostitute, she makes friends with the customer. Why? Does she love him? What does she want? No money, no how do they say? No money, no honey. If someone who serves Krishna desires some material thing back, this is not pure. This is some mix, like a business mentality. Shishila asks her husband again and again, your friend is the Supreme Lord owns everything. Please go and ask him for something. Again and again she asked. Sudama did not answer. Then one day Sudama began thinking, wonder, after all, to see Krishna is the ultimate goal of life, why I should not go. So thinking like that, one day he decided, I will go to Dwarka and visit Krishna. Krishna appeared in this world 5,000 years ago. So Sudama was very lucky he was born at that time. He appeared at that time in this world. We are unlucky because we appeared 5,000 years later. But still by hearing and talking about Krishna's activities, we can also become absorbed in him, a bit like Sudama. That's in culture, society, when you visit someone, you should bring a gift. So we say when you come to the temple, you should never come empty-handed. At least you bring one flower, one fruit. This is culture. In the same way, Sudama thinking, I'm going to my friend's house, I should bring him something. What do I have? Nothing. Guru Maharaj said, Sudama was so poor, there were no mouse in his house, no mice in his house. And nothing to eat, so he all migrated next door. Sudama was thinking, what to give my friend Krishna? I have nothing. And his good wife, Shishila, went and begged, and the neighbors gave one handful of flat rice. No one had flat rice? Terrible stuff. What they call in Bangla? Chua. Pawa, they call in Gujarat, Chira, and Bengal. Same thing. Means rice, they flatten it by some roller, and you put something in to make it tasty and you eat it. You know? So, also one thing, if you go begging, what do people give you? Crappy stuff, right? They've got some good fresh vegetables, some old vegetables. When a beggar comes, what do you give them? The old stuff. So those 4 handfuls of flat rice, they were no good quality. Also, if you take from 4 different houses, you get 4 types of variety. So that was put in one, tied in one piece of cloth. Sudama kept here, tucked in his cloth, and were headed towards Dwarka, the abode of Krishna. As he was walking, he was constantly thinking of Krishna, very happy. Soon I will see my friend. I cannot wait to see him after many years. So Sudama was walking, his mind was absorbed in thoughts of Krishna. On the way he was also singing the holy name, Govinda mera hai, Gopala mera hai. Krishna is mine, Govinda is mine, Gopala is mine, my friend. So he was thinking, will I get to see Krishna? Even to see mundane presidents? You go there, there's so much checking, body scan. Will I get to see the Supreme Lord? Why? Not so easy to see Krishna. Even 5,000 years ago when he was directly present, what to speak of nowadays. Even they said all the demigods. You know what a demigod is? You say yes. Those who are controlling the material aspects of the creation, they're called demigods. Demi means half god. Just like in this country, the president's name is Obama. He's not in charge of everything, right? He's like the overseer. He get, okay, you're in charge of defense, you're in charge of public works, you're in charge of education, you're in charge of... People are given different facilities, different posts, responsibilities, material responsibilities. Understand? And where's Obama? Playing golf in the Bahamas. Krishna is not simply concerned with the maintaining creation and destruction of the material world. He's got better things. Like Bill Gates. Is Bill Gates twinning toilets in Microsoft? He's enjoying. So Krishna is enjoying in the spiritual world with his devotees. And he gives those material things, okay, you guys do that. So it's called demigod. So the material creator of the universe, his name is Brahma. So Brahma came and he wanted to see Krishna. He knocked on the door and the security guard tells the guy, yeah, hey, who are you? I know. What do you want, sir? I want to see Krishna. And the security guard said, please wait here. I will ask the Lord if he's free or not free. So when the guard went inside, he bowed to the Lord. Oh, Krishna, Purushottam, Supreme Person, Lord Brahma is here to see. And Krishna asked, which Brahma? Security guard said to the creator of this material universe, which Brahma are you? The Brahma said, you nuts, it's me, Brahma, the creator. Brahma did not know there's millions and millions of universes. Each universe has a Brahma. Just like every country in the world has an education minister, defense minister, whatever, health minister. So when the Lord asked, which Brahma are you? Then Brahma thinking, I am the only creator? This is only my universe? He said, which Brahma are you? I am the four-headed Brahma. So he was called in, and when Brahma came in, he saw some Brahmas with 10 heads, some Brahmas with 100 heads, some Brahmas with 1,000 heads, some with 10,000, some with 1 million. Why? This universe is the smallest universe. Because when Mahavishnu breathes out, the last bit, that's our universe. Our universe is the last one created. And when he breathes in, we're the first one dissolved. So this Brahma, this universe is very small, therefore Brahma only has 4 heads. So when Brahma saw the other Brahmas, huge, gigantic fellows, all type of power and opulence, he felt like one insect, one glowworm in front of his face. So the point being, even if you create your own universe, it's not easy to see the Supreme Lord. So Sudama was thinking, even the demigods cannot. Yadyapi samadishu, vidyapi paschati nātava nāhagamarichu, idami chamino samya pavasita kadapi kripa dhutivichu. Even the perfected yogis, they cannot see the toenails of Krishna in their meditation. Even Brahma and others, very hard for them to see Krishna's feet. And Sudama thinking, who am I? I'm very poor, a human being. And will I get the chance to see Krishna? And he was thinking as he went to walk. The holy city was walking. So when he got there, then there was no one stopped him, no one checked him, no one searched him. Because Krishna had given an order, never stop my devotees. They can come in without being checked. So Krishna married 16,108 queens. Why? Have a guess, right? Because 16,108 young girls wanted, I will marry Krishna. So Krishna made it to please them, to fulfill their desires. The self-sufficient Supreme Person manifested himself in the 16,108 forms to please his devotees. Otherwise, Krishna has no desire. He has a spiritual body, he has no desire. Sudama went into one palace that happened to be the palace of Krishna's first queen, Rukmini. The guard stopped him. Who are you? Oh, I am the friend of Krishna. My name is Sudama. And the guard looked at Sudama. Sudama was very thin because he was not eating properly. The veins, not like me, look how fat I am. No veins, you cannot see any veins. Oh, there it is. Oh no, disappeared in the fat again. We cannot see the veins. Sudama was so thin, the veins in his body were sticking out. Sudama was so poor, he had no shirt. Only one cloth around his neck. No turban, no hat, no shoes. Only one cloth. And that cloth was dirt, was full of holes, stitched 100 times. No walking stick, his feet were cracked. Like in the security guard, how this guy can be the friend of Krishna? Friend means equals, right? And he thought, this guy, how he can be the friend of Krishna? Come on. Then the security guard remembered, hang on. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindho, Dinabandhu, Jagapate, Gopika, Gopika Kanta, Radhakanta Namaste. Hang on. Hey Krishna, Karuna Sindhu. Krishna is an ocean of mercy. This is Karuna Sindhu, Dinabandhu, Jagapate. He is friend of the poor. Dinabandhu, there is one name of Krishna, Dinabandhu. Those persons who are very poor, who have no one, Krishna is their friend. Why Krishna is not our friend? We have so many things. We like so many things except for Krishna, then why Krishna will be our friend? Those persons have no material attachment. Krishna is their friend. And we thought it could be possible because Krishna is friend of those who have nothing. And he went, please wait here. And he went and asked Krishna. That time Krishna was in the inner chamber with Rukmini and Bhaktivedan, some other queen. That time the security guard said, Krishna, one Brahman, one devotee is here. He says, he is your friend. His name is Sudama. As soon as Krishna heard, my friend Sudama, and Krishna stood up and began running at Hey Dwarpalo, you know that one? Kanaya Kekedo. Oh, God. He called Sudama, said, oh God, you tell him that his friend Sudama has come. When Krishna heard my friend Sudama, Krishna began running. And Krishna embraced Sudama. And what happened? Krishna was so happy he began weeping. This is very beautiful. At least what's Krishna made of, you know? Krishna's body, you've been here before, right? Oh, red. Oh, no wonder what you do. Krishna's form, God has a form, right? If God has no form, you cannot serve him. You cannot love him. But the Bible says that God made man after his own image and likeness. What does that mean? He also has two hands, two legs, a nose, two eyes, lips, ears, hair, everything in him. But his form is not material. His form is never changing. So many forms of Krishna. We never see a picture of old Krishna. Krishna in the wheelchair. We never see that. Krishna with the walking stick. Krishna with the false teeth. Krishna the collecting bag and all that. We've not seen that. Everywhere we see Krishna as a youth. Because he is Nityanaveen. He is ever fresh youth. We never see old Krishna. Therefore the Rig Veda spoke in the beginning of creation says, I saw one cowherd boy. He had no change. Means his form is all spiritual form. His form is made of Satchidananda. Just like our forms are made of stool, urine, and mucus. Krishna's body is not made of that. Our bodies are material. But his body is spiritual. Okay? So Krishna is made of eternality, knowledge, and bliss. Krishna is made of Ananda. He is Satsarup, Chitsarup, Ananda. Means Krishna is made of access, bliss. chant his name, you'll become happy. If you remember him and make relationships with him, you will also feel bliss. Therefore he is called Krishna. The Vedic call the Supreme Lord Krishna. Why? Krishna means to attract, and now means Ananda, bliss. If you think of him, serve him, and he will attract you, and he will give you ecstasy. Krishna. But Krishna gives ecstasy to the whole world. That is the point. He's made of ecstasy. No one can make him happy. He's made of bliss. But when Krishna embraced Sudama, Krishna began weeping and huffing. That means the body of the pure devotee is also not material. Otherwise it could not give happiness to the spiritual form of Krishna. Vaishnava Deha Chidanandana. The body of a devotee is also completely spiritual. How? Just like if you put iron into fire. What happens to the iron? Understand? Iron becomes just like fire. You can surrender to Krishna and serve Krishna, chant his name, and what will happen? You will become like him. And your body will also be spiritual. Otherwise, how Sudama could give happiness to Krishna? Thus, Krishna began weeping with tears of affection. He embraced Sudama again and again. He caught Sudama's hand and put Sudama on his throne. And Krishna began washing his feet. Just like before there was no cars or shoes. So people would walk along this with their feet would be dirty. So as a matter of honor and respect to the guests, people would wash their feet. Just like when Gurudev would come to anyone's house and the devotees would wash his feet out. This is a sign of very much affection and respect. So the whole world is washing Krishna's feet. But Krishna is washing the feet of Sudama. Krishna is saying, you must worship, you must respect my devotees. Otherwise you cannot achieve me. Sometimes you think, why I should worship Gurudev? Why I should give respect to devotees? Why? Even Krishna does that. This is his nature. Krishna is also a man and a manaveda. Krishna never demands respect for himself. He always gives respect to everyone, especially his devotees. But how was Krishna washing the feet? With a jug of water, with his tears, and with his own cloth. He washed the feet of Sudama. Then he ordered his queens, fans. Krishna's queens, they're the goddesses of fortune, Rukmini and Satyabhama. They began fanning Sudama. Then the other residents of the palace were watching. What the hell is this? What good activities has this Brahman performed, this devotee? We don't know what he's done. What mountains did he chant? What holy places has he visited? Why? Because Avadutena Bhikshana. He seems like a beggar. Bhikshana means beggar. Avadutena Bhikshana. He seems like a beggar. He has no material possessions. But the goddess of fortune is fanning him. And Dev Janardana, the Supreme Lord Janardana, who is worshipped by the whole creation, he is worshipping the feet of Sudama. Everyone was astonished. They had never seen this before. The whole world worships and adores Krishna. But Krishna is worshipping and adoring this devotee, so everyone is asking, who is this devotee? Who is he? What has he done? So Sudama had doubt. Does Krishna really remember this? Maybe Krishna just does this for every devotee. That is Krishna's nature. He completely sells himself to those who surrender completely to him. So Sudama had some doubt. Really, Krishna remembers me? Maybe he does this to everyone? All the devotees that come in his door? So to dispel Sudama's doubt, then Krishna talked to him. All my friends Sudama. After you resided in the school of the Guru, that is called Gurukul, today was well. After finishing your studies, did you marry any nice girl? Any proper woman? Sudama said, yes, I married. And Krishna said, you did not invite me to the wedding. What type of friend are you? And Sudama says, really, what about you? You married 16,108 times. I didn't get an invitation to even one of your weddings. It's because they are friends, they are joking like this. You can imagine how qualified is Sudama. So by hearing about him, we will become like him. Hearing is so powerful. So, have a woman, wife, sorry, even though you're engaged in so many material affairs, your mind is not affected by it. You're always aloof and separate. Some people marry and perform that and have children and give examples for others. In the same way, even though you have no material desires, you are acting to instruct others, just like I do. Having renounced all material desires which spring from the mind, some persons act only to instruct others, like you. Therefore, my dear friends, do you remember how we resided in the school of the spiritual master? When one pleases the Guru, one achieves everything. One can learn everything that is necessary to learn. He can enjoy spiritual life which lies beyond all ignorance. Therefore, my dear friend, there are three fathers. You say Gurus. What are the three Gurus? The first father gives birth to the material body. The second father is one who, like Upanayan, how do you say that? How do you explain to guys Upanayan? Second birth means when a boy becomes at a certain age and he's qualified and he's initiated. But the third birth is the most important, that is the birth of transcendental knowledge. So Krishna says, in order to achieve that spiritual knowledge, one should go to the spiritual master. Now, question comes. Come on, what's going on here? Monday Krishna directly. Krishna is the spiritual master of the three worlds. Because all knowledge comes from him. Have you heard of the Vedas? Okay, don't worry. The Vedas are the original knowledge that the Supreme Lord used in the beginning of creation to educate us. So Krishna is the spiritual master of everyone because he is the original giver of the Vedic scriptures. Also, we just heard that Krishna is made of knowledge itself. What is Krishna made of? Remember the three things? Eternality, knowledge, and truth. So Krishna, he is completely composed of knowledge. There's someone who is the original spiritual master of the entire creation. Someone who is made of knowledge. Then he will have a guru. Question comes. Why was the necessity for Krishna to have a spiritual master? Was there something he didn't know? Did he have to learn something? What do you think? Iris, the 10 Bhakti points. Why would Krishna need a spiritual master? Huh? He knows everything. He's the original guru. Set an example. And how come you're not doing it? Shame. Krishna set the example for us. Everyone must have a guru. And not just initiation and Haribol, see you later, he's there. Krishna says three things must be possessed of the disciple. And because Krishna is the original guru, he must give his own example. To give example to everyone in this world, even though he is the original spiritual master, he is the source of all knowledge, he also became a disciple. His Gurudev was called Sandipam Rishi. So Krishna is instructed, because Guru means his Lord gives teaching by example. Not just someone who sits on a big seat, do this, do this, do this, do this. Acharya means one who teaches by their own example. So Krishna taught by his own example. Otherwise people would say, Krishna didn't have a guru, then why I need a guru? Because the mouth of the foolish person, Krishna also became a disciple. Guru should be qualified, but also disciples should be qualified. Guru Maharaj would say, even if your guru is Nityananda himself, if you do not follow his instructions, Guru cannot help you on the job. Guru will give advice, instructions. When the disciple follows those instructions, the disciple becomes so. Krishna gave examples. So in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Tadvidi, Tadvipatena, Paripasena, Seya, Upataksanti, Jananas, Kapsadasana. Oh, Arjuna, you should approach the spiritual master. How? With a mood of surrender. Means, Bhaktivedan says to the Thakur, when we come to the feet of Guru, we should think, I've seen this world. There's nothing I have to turn back and do. not looking in the rear vision mirror. It means come with a one-way ticket and come completely for spiritual life as serenity. Then also should have a mood of proper inquiry. Disciples should have some proper questions on spiritual life. There's so many doubts, so much confusion. There is some proper inquiry. And also, because the Guru is not just a question and answer Guru, he's not an information Guru. What he tells you, you'll have to follow. You'll have to serve. Understand? So the disciple should have surrender, a mood of surrender, a mood of proper inquiry, and a mood of service. Even materially, this is the case. For example, I want to go to the 7-Eleven. What do? First, I have to approach someone. Well, he looks like a local. I approach him. And what do? We ask, "Excuse me, sir, where's the 7-Eleven?" Okay. Go down here, take a left. And then what he tells us we have to do. When we reach the goal, in the same way, even materially, we have to follow these three things. Approach someone in the mood of faith, inquire, and serve and follow their instructions. So even to reach a material destination, we have to do these three things. And what to speak of spiritual destination. Showing the 111. So, Krishna teaches in his own life. Therefore, why Krishna comes from the spiritual world to the material world? To give us this type of instruction. So, Krishna said, do you remember, Sudama, how we both stayed in the school of Gurudev? How long Krishna stayed for? 64 days. In 64 days he learned everything. Of course he knows everything to begin with, but he was just teaching. So one should have a mood of dedication and service. It's like, if we love someone, we want to do something for them. Do you love your parents, Christopher? Do you do anything for them? One time, Srila Chivita Maharaj was in his room. You know John's brother, remember? So Maharaj said, the time he was very young, like 11 or 12, and Maharaj was very big and old. Then the boy came in the room, and Maharaj shouted at him, "Do you love me?" And the boy was very afraid. No. Do you love me? No. Maharaj said, I know, you never do anything for me. When there's love, there's giving. He used to say, when husband and wife came, when Maharaj said, if your wife was sick, you would spend all your wealth, everything you had to spend. But if I was sick, you don't spend $1. Why? It's a question of relation, a question of love. So where there's faith, there must be love. Where there's love, there must be this mood of, I want to do something. I want to give. Guru does not come here to collect material things. What does Guru want you to do? Perform devotion. That is the service to do. Guru is not collecting for himself. He wants you to engage yourself in serving Krishna. Without direction from Guru, you cannot serve Krishna properly. But to give instructions that everyone in this creation, Krishna also would serve you. How? Krishna said, Svavaisat karmanam shakshad juidyata iti sambhavaha adyo anga yatasraman yataham jnanado guru naham nija prajatibhyam taposa papanenada natusyam sarvabhutatma guru susu sayayata. Krishna said, one who takes advantage of the instructions that I speak through the mouth of the spiritual master, that person easily crosses the ocean of birth and death. I am not satisfied by ritual worship. Gopal, you think Krishna is happy by that? No. Krishna says, now how many I am not satisfied by ritual worship. I am not satisfied by simple dry austerity, meditation. I am satisfied by one who serves the Guru with his life and soul. Therefore Krishna. Did Krishna do any service? One day Krishna and Sudama went to the wife of the Guru. Oh Guru Ma, there are 6 mothers. In the Vedic culture we have 7 mothers. One is the mother who gives birth. One is the wet nurse. One is the wife of the Guru, the wife of the Brahmin, cow, earth, may be married. His wife should also be considered like a mother. Like Guru should be considered father. No? So, oh, Guru Ma, can we serve you? Do you need anything? Oh yes, my boys, I need firewood. Can you bring some firewood? The Krishna and Sudama took their axe and went to the forest to cut some wood. Is there any need for Krishna to personally go to the forest? Just by his desire, he created millions of universes, millions of Amazons. But to teach us, one should not be so proud. Hey, I'm Bhagavan, I'm God. Who are you telling me to go and get some firewood? But the Krishna teaches us all these things: humility, service, dedication. Krishna and Sudama went to the forest. And they cut some firewood, but what happened? A huge storm came. So much rain. It became very dark. Krishna and Sudama could not find their way home. So what did Krishna and Sudama do? All night they kept the firewood on their head. Because everything had flooded. If they put the firewood down, it would become wet. All night, holding each other's hands, Krishna and Sudama stood underneath a tree with the firewood upon their head. And in the morning, like disciple dedicates to Guru, Guru also so much affection for disciples. So Sandipani Rishi, Sudama, Krishna, Sudama, Krishna. Oh Gurudev, we are here. So when Sudama saw Krishna like that, in the rain all night with fire on his head, and Sandipani Rishi began to weep. My dear boy, what is the most dear thing to us? Everyone in this world is body. If people pull out a gun, your money, your life, then what does everyone do? Take my body. Spare this body. So this body is most dear to everyone. But for me, for my happiness, you have sacrificed your bodily happiness for me. I bless you. What is that blessing? Sorry. Indeed, it's the debt, the duty of every disciple to try to satisfy the spiritual master by body, mind, word. Everything they have, they should be ready to offer for the happiness of Guru. And is Guru collecting and enjoying everything for himself? You might say, he is kangaroo. You know kangaroo, big pocket, inside everything goes, and he runs away. Guru is not collecting in this world. Anything that is offered to him, he is using is 100% for the service of Krishna. We should not think that Guru has a separate bank account from Krishna. Anything given to Guru, that will be 100% used for the happiness and the service of Krishna. This is not very hard to understand. It's like Iris. If I met your mother, if I walked up to your mother in the street and gave her a bar of chocolate, would you take it from me? Probably not. I wouldn't take it from someone like me. Maybe this is poison, maybe something, who knows? But if I gave that bar of chocolate to you, and then you gave it to your mother, would your mother take it? Respect it. But don't try and serve Krishna directly, because we don't know Krishna. We never met him. The Guru knows Krishna, no? Or at least minimum he knows his own Guru. If there were anything given to Guru, then Krishna will give that to his Guru or give to Krishna. Then Krishna will take it very happily, because there's a relationship. So don't try and jump over Guru to get to Krishna. Just serve Guru. And any service we do to Guru, that will reach the Supreme Lord. Therefore, often we cannot see how he is serving. Every part of his body is for the service of Krishna. There is one devotee called Haridas, very famous in Bengal. He manifested the beauty of Bhakti Yoga. Has anyone seen Bhakti Yoga? Bhakti Yoga. So, Haridas was very famous devotee. So one time, one Muslim king, his name was Akbar, he heard in Vrindavan is a great devotee, Haridas. So he wanted to go and see him and get some mercy from grace. And he took some sandalwood oil. Can you imagine making sandalwood oil? So expensive, right? So the king of India, he took a bottle of sandalwood oil, but he was disguised like a normal person. Because devotees, they don't like to associate with materials. So the king had come as a big king, the devotee may have not have seen him. So Akbar came and he was very happy by Haridas' singing. He gave him, not donation, he gave some service. He gave him that bottle of sandalwood oil. Haridas, he took the top of the sandalwood oil and stuck it in the sand. Can you imagine how much sandalwood oil costs? Even a kilo of dry sandalwood wood costs $400 a kilo. And Imagine someone making oil out of wood. How much are you going to need? So Haridas just took off the top and stuck it in the sand. And the king was like, angry, you're nuts, you know how much that costs? Very expensive. And the madman just put it in the sand. He could not understand the activities of Haridas. So the king walked like a kilometer down the road. There is a temple of Bhakti Yoga, Krishna. So when the king walked in the temple, and the whole temple room was full of the smell of that sandalwood oil. How Haridas is a spiritual person, how he offered everything to Krishna just by sticking it in the sand. Anything given to Guru, bona fide Vaishnava, that reaches Krishna automatically. There's many stories, and it's very exciting. There was one little boy, devotee, the son of Advaitacharya, his name was Gopal. So when he was small, he came home and he saw some very nice bananas in the kitchen. He grabbed the bananas and offered them to Krishna in his mind. Mentally he offered them. Oh, Krishna, accept my offering. Then he ate the bananas. And Advaitacharya came home. Naughty boy, you've taken the bananas without offering. These bananas belong to Krishna. Just like in this house, everything we cook, everything we have, we offer first to Krishna. Everyone should do that in your home. You should start. Did you create anything? No. You didn't create anything. Then don't try and take it. Everything belongs to him. Everything new and good we should give to Krishna first. Because he's the enjoyer, the creator. And after he is enjoyed, then we take. So, and when the child became angry, you've taken the bananas and not given to Krishna? No, Father, I offered them in my mind. The father made him not believe something. So, he beat the boy on the back. Then a few minutes later, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Krishna. And the Advaitacharya was speaking with the Lord. When the Lord was speaking, the Advaitacharya could smell the bananas on his breath. And when the Lord turned around, the handprint was there. On the back of the Lord. Because the devotee, everything they have is Krishna. If you give anything to the devotee, it goes to Krishna. If you insult the devotee, that insult goes to Krishna. It's like the hand smack. The imprint of the hand was on the back of the Lord. So if you disrespect the devotee, that disrespect goes directly to Krishna. And if you love a devotee and respect him, that love and respect goes also directly to Krishna. The point being, don't try and jump over, don't go directly. If we always go through Guru, then we'll always be successful. All disciples should always remember that. So, the Guru Sandipani Rishi, I'm very happy with you boys. This is the duty of every disciple. Everything they have should be offered to the pleasure of the Guru. Therefore they should offer him with pure heart everything they possess. And what's the real donation Guru wants from us? He wants our independence. Guru Maharaj said. Just like the potter, he's trying to make a pot. The clay has no resistance. Therefore the potter can make any design he wants. If the pot is not malleable and soft, the potter cannot make anything. The disciple has rigidity, resistance. The Guru cannot make him anything. He cannot make him into anything. He just remains a blob of clay. So that resistance means independence. So what's the thing Guru wants from us? What's the real donation? Right? Independence. I do not belong to me, I belong to you. Then Guru will be able to make you into a maid servant of Radharani, otherwise he will not be able to make you. What's the beautiful? Radha Govinda Guru. So this is the duty of the disciple, completely surrender to Guru. So, Krishna said, Sudama, we had many such adventures, experiences while residing with the Guru. Then they were talking. Then Sudama had his offering. Remember his offering, the flat rice? Sudama was thinking, he was looking at the wealth of Krishna. You know, like you guys coming here maybe thinking, Krishna has a good life. And imagine the palace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sudama was looking at the unlimited opulence, the unlimited wealth of the Supreme Lord. And what did Sudama have to offer him? Uncooked flat rice. And Sudama was ashamed. Also, Krishna has 16,108 wives. Imagine what they're cooking for him. every day, 16,108 times. Krishna was eating 4 times a day. Sudama was thinking wealth and everything, and Sudama was thinking, how can I offer this to Krishna? It is not worthy. So thinking, being ashamed, he simply hangs his head. But Krishna is a very special person. He always looks at them, he never looks at the offering, he always looks at the mood of the offering. Therefore, Bhakta Prabhu Prabhu Kori Kori Kai, Bhakta Prabhu Prabhu Na Kori Na Chai. A non-devotee may offer many expensive things to Krishna. Krishna will never even look at it, because no love is there. The devotee offers a very small, insignificant thing, but with pure devotion, then Krishna steals it. He snatches it. So Sudama was thinking, how I can offer. He was ashamed, he simply hung his head. How can you do this to the Supreme Person? Then Krishna said, he understands the hearts of everyone. Sudama, did you bring anything for me? I regard as great even the smallest gift of my devotion. But even grades of offerings presented by non-devotees never attract me. Satsam, Pushpam, Valam, Payam, Yabhaktiya. Bhagavad Gita. Same verse in Bhagavad. Krishna says, if you could offer me a glass of water, a fruit, a flower, and Krishna says, I snatch it. Well, a flower should not be eaten. Krishna is so happy to get something out of love, even he'll eat the flower. That is the meaning of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna was encouraging. Even the smallest offering by my devotee I consider very great, and even the biggest offering with no love I never accept, I never look at it. Even after being addressed by Krishna again and again, Sudama would not give his offering. Indeed, he simply bowed his head in shame. Sarva Bhutatma Drik Shakshat, being the direct witness in the heart of every living entity. Tasya Gama Karanam, being the cause of all causes. Krishna fully understood why Sudama had come. Why should friends get money? If Sudama had not asked for anything, Sudama did not want to ask for anything. Thus he thought, my friend has never worshipped me and served me out of any material desire. He has come simply to satisfy to get his wife off his back, to satisfy his wife. Therefore Krishna was thinking, I will give him great wealth. I will give him so much wealth, even the demigods in heaven will become envious of him. Thinking like this, Krishna snatched the offering of uncooked blood rice from Sudama. And Sudama was trying to check, was Sudama very weak and thin? Krishna possessed of unlimited strength. Krishna stole the offering and began to eat. And Krishna, what did Krishna say? Sudama, how did you know my favorite dish? Long time I have not taken Torah, they're saying Chia. Krishna took the offering, one hand, and ate. That was uncooked with no savory, no taste at all. He ate. Then Krishna went to take another handful, and he was leaving the goddess before she caught his hand. Why? And by eyes, they had a conversation by eyes, Krishna and Rukmini. Why? Because if they'd spoken aloud, Sudama would know, soon I'm going to get a lot of money. His mood would be spoiled. So by eyes. Externally, Rukmini said, Krishna, you should not eat that. It's not cooked, it's not fit for you. Externally, Rukmini said that. But by eyes, he said, Krishna, you will eat everything and not keep anything for us. Oh Krishna, by one handful, he has satisfied you, the soul of the entire creation. If you take another handful, what will you do? You cannot reciprocate properly with him. And to stop Krishna becoming completely controlled and everybody by Sudama, which means he caught his hand, would not let him take a second handful of the chira. So, Sudama, you can imagine how much he was happy. Krishna snatched my offering and took my offering. All night they talked together, they did prasad together. In the morning, Sudama left even poorer than he came. Because when he came, at least he had a cheap rice in his bag, but when he left, even that had been taken. But Sudama never asked for anything. And Krishna never offered him anything also. So, Sudama was completely satisfied. So when he was walking home, Sudama was singing. Aho Brahmanya Devasya Drishta Brahmanyata Maya Tadaridatmato Lakshmin Akvasa Viditorasi Kwaham Dalita Papiyam Kwaham Krishna Chiniketanam Brahmabandhu Tismaham Bahubhya Parirambita Sususaya Paramaya Pada Sambhamadivi Udito Deva Devena Vipra Devana Devava. Beautiful verses of Sri Rama. He's saying, I have heard of Krishna's devotion to his devotees. You think his love is only one way? Love is always two ways. The devotee loves Krishna, and Krishna always loves the devotee. Krishna says, O Nuvasa, Sadanam Vidayam Mayam, Sadunam Vidayam Tvayam, Manadatmena Mahajit, Sanaham Kanyadanam. I always remember the devotee. The devotee is my heart. And the devotee's heart is Krishna. They always think of Krishna. You give anything to the devotee, that goes to Krishna. You give anything to Krishna, where does it go? To the devotee. So Sudama was thinking, I have heard of Krishna's devotion for his devotion. Now I have seen it. Indeed, Krishna always carries a line here on his chest. That is Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, resides there. So Sudama said, I'm a beggar. Krishna always keeps Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune, on his chest. So Krishna embraced me to his chest. Waham Dalita Papiyam. Who am I? A most sinful Brahmin. I'm not a devotee, I'm just a pretend devotee. I'm sinful. Waham Dalita Papiyam. I'm very poor. And who is Krishna? Waham Dalita Papiyam. Waham Krishna. Sri Niketana. Where am I? Nothing. And where is Krishna? Sri Niketanam, the Lord of the goddess of fortune, the Supreme Personality. But he embraced me to his chest, just like a brother. Sudama was so happy. He made me sit on his bed. And when I was fatigued, he ordered his queens, fan him. Although he is worshipped by the demigod, Krishna worships me. He massaged my feet and did other services for me. Therefore, Swarga, Upavargata, Punsam, Rasayam, Bhavi Sampadam. Is there anything you cannot achieve by devotion? Endurance. One achieves everything. The impossible becomes possible by devotion to Krishna. Indeed, Sudama is thinking Krishna is very kind. Krishna knew if I gave him wealth, Sudama would forget me. Therefore he did not give me any wealth. He was very kind to me, very merciful. Sudama returned home. When he came home to his grass hut, what did he see? His grass hut was not there. What was there? One huge, enormous mansion. Sudama maybe some developer stole my property and put some condos up on it. Sudama saw the same wealth like he had seen in Dwarka. Almost like the same design, the same color. Sudama was thinking, what has happened? Who has done this? What happened to my grass hut with holes in it and no mouth? He saw one woman coming towards him. She was like a demigod. Who was that? His wife. Krishna had given so much wealth to Sudama. Sudama could not recognize his wife, but she could recognize him. That's why Krishna changed her first in his house. Otherwise she also would not have recognized her husband. She touched his feet, he also became like that. But Sudama did not become proud. He thought, oh, is it not really Krishna's mercy? Krishna's mercy was his embrace and all these things. Sudama never became proud. He never forgot Krishna even for a second. Why Krishna gave him secret? There's one Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, the farmers worship the god of rain by their offering. But the god of rain becomes so much indebted. Oh, I cannot give anything before them. So the rain cloud comes at night when the farmer is sleeping and gives secrets. Krishna was thinking Sudama gave me so much that Raja, I feel embarrassed to give him anything in front of him. I cannot properly reciprocate with the love of my devotees. So for that reason Krishna gave at night time secrets. It's like a cloud. So Sudama never asked for anything from Krishna. Because Sudama is the ideal example of Sudha Bhakta of pure devotee. Therefore if we want anything from Krishna, material, Krishna will give it very easily, but he will not give himself very easily. But that person who surrenders everything to Krishna, and what will Krishna give that person? Himself. Hare Krishna. So we should chant the name with that. Even one drop of this feeling, our lives will become successful. Hare Krishna, Hare